welcome to this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network, and we are here. It's our annual pilgrimage into the studio today. Victoria Grasela, she's the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the United Way of Greater New Bedford. We are here to talk about, really, the Hunger Commission.
Agreed, yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Jim.
It's such a tough time of year, although you come in the spring, too, because we do that because people don't grasp that this is a year-round issue. But a lot of attention at this time of year for you guys and for the Hunger Commission.
Yep.
First of all, thanks, because I know you guys are very busy, to say the least, right now. So I guess just for the overview right now, how is the Hunger Commission? How is the food pantry? Are we stocked?
So yeah, the Hunger Commission is doing really well. We actually just got a brand new truck, so big investment.
And you and I
in
have talked about this for a while because the other one was damaged.
Well, it was damaged. We had some vandalism issues with it.
Right.
It's a 20-year-old truck. I mean, you know, you can only take so much on one of those trucks. And so it's definitely had a lot of mechanical issues in the past few years. So we have been talking about getting a new truck, Jim. I'm probably 5-6 years, right?
You and I
We've been talking about this forever, and so we have a foundation that came forward, paid for the truck, but it's taken us 18 months to actually get the truck in-house since we ordered it because there were shortages on parts for the trucks. I mean, they built it, you know, specifically for us, but it is finally here. We're going to have a ribbon cutting in a couple weeks, but you know, it just means so much to us to have this new truck out there. It makes it easier. It's a little bit bigger, so we can put more food into the truck. We know our driver is safe out there, and those are all really important to us. So the Hunger Commission is doing great. You know, the pantries that we're serving on a daily basis with different food that we're picking up or partnerships that we have with local programs to get additional food, we're getting those out to the pantries, but they're all seeing such an uptick in numbers. You know, I'm on calls periodically throughout the month, and they're all saying that their numbers are still increasing. You know, we had hoped that after things settled after the pandemic, we'd see some of that even out and numbers would start going down. But unfortunately, with inflation, we're seeing that still creep up.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is I mean, you can say the economy is doing well, and by all statistics, it is. But the reality is people at home are still struggling right now.
There's still, you know, there's still a lot of low wages in the area. People are having to choose between getting their prescriptions and providing food. So that's why more people are still, you know, going to those food pantries to get that produce, to get that dairy, to get the meats. It's so expensive. I mean, Jim, we always joke that we see each other at the grocery store on Sunday mornings, and you and I both know that we've seen that price increase significantly over, you know, the past few years. And so a family who is really struggling, you know, they're buying the lower quality food that's usually high in sodium, high in fat. They're not getting that fresh cucumber, those fresh tomatoes. And so they're then creating an issue with their health later in life. And so we've been trying to change our Hunger Commission to do more of that produce. So we're working with Coastal Food Shed, who is local, to get more produce out into the community. We work with Sharing the Harvest Farm, that's at the Dartmouth YMCA.
And you talked about this last time you were here too, that this has been a big push.
It is.
To get the fresh produce from local farmers.
Yeah.
And I guess the key is to get the farmers to do it.
It is, yeah, you know, but there's so many programs out there. So I mentioned we work with Coastal Food Shed. So they got a grant recently. We've been partnering with them for years, but in May they got an LFPA grant, something along those lines. And so the state is actually giving them money to purchase produce from the local farmers. So it's putting money back into our economy. It's making sure that the crops are getting eaten. And then it's getting it out to the people who need it for free. And so we're that literally the vehicle who is bringing it out to the different pantries to get it in the hands of, you know, kids, elderly, any resident who really needs it. And so that's really been a bigger push for us, is to make sure that it's not about the quantity of what we're getting out anymore. It's really about that quality piece.
Well, that's the thing too, is that you said the quality food has to be there for people. It's not just giving them food. It's something that's good for them.
You want to make sure that you're not just giving them cookies and cupcakes and brownies, and you know, the high sodium canned items. Like, yes, that's all going to still be out there, but we want to make sure we're introducing people to more vegetables. And you know, by being able to do our mobile markets during the summer and partnering with a Coastal Food Shed during the rest of the year, we're able to give people that opportunity to access that produce.
Are you able to, because as you said, the need is up, are you able to plan how much food you get over the course of a year? I mean, because you've got to plan. I would assume you have to plan. Like, you look at the summer, because you come in here in the summer and you're like, kids are home, they don't have lunch anymore. So I know you're thinking of that, but do you have to go through annually and plan how much food you're going to get or what you expect to get?
So that's not really how our model works. Our model was set up where it's a food rescue service. So, if like a grocery store has an overages of food, we would be picking it up. Now that we've kind of changed our model and we are doing more with that healthier options, not to say we wouldn't pick up at any other store for any number of reasons, but we get what they're growing. You know what I mean? Like, so Sharing the Harvest at the Dartmouth YMCA, they grow 50,000+ pounds of food a year, but we never know like what that means. So is that, some of the heavier items like a squash and, zucchini, or is that a lighter thing like kale? So that's any mix of that. So we don't necessarily know what we're going to get on a given week. Same thing with our partnership with Coastal Food Shed. We don't always know what we're going to get every week. So it's not really a planning thing. It's kind of whatever we have, and we figure out how to get it out to the most amount of people we can.
You talked about you just briefly mentioned it, and I think it's a good point. You do have a working relationship with the different supermarkets in the area to pick up, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's overstocked items.
It could be any number of things. We even get calls occasionally from truck drivers who were turned away from a store and they have yogurt, they have chicken, and they'll call us and say, hey, can you take some of this? And so then we're able to take that, give it to some of the pantries in the area to better, to feed more people.
Well, that's a great thing to have too. That just helps the cause, because it's not like the food's ever going to go to waste. Really.
No, never.
I mean, you always have, and as you said, the need's growing any more. Talk a little bit. The last time you were here, we were talking about the Boston Food Bank as well. That you rely on them
we
too.
Do,
but I know the last time you were saying they were down in donations.
So it's much better than last time I was here. The Boston Food Bank is a great supporter of the area. So we don't get food directly from them, but many of the pantries in the area do. And we do pickups for some of those pantries and bring the food over to them, because not everybody has a truck. We are fortunate where we have that truck, so we're able to step in and do some of that delivery for them to alleviate some of their stresses. But the Boston Food Bank is still down here, multiple times a week, bringing truckloads of food to the different food pantries. And so they're definitely better off than they were, a year ago. They had a lot of staffing issues where they just couldn't keep people for any number of reasons. There were less on food, but that's really changed now. So we're seeing food come in, more steadily and, more regular throughout the course of a month.
People may not know. So how, for those that need help, how do they get the help?
Right. So the best thing to do if you're looking for a food pantry to get services is call 211. So Mass 211 is a program of United Way's. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 211. You can also go online. And what they do when they answer the phone is they ask you your zip code, ask you what you're calling for. So it's not necessarily just food. Maybe it's housing. Maybe it's childcare. It could be veterans benefits. And you'd say, hey, listen, I'm looking for a food pantry in my area, and they'd be able to pull up a whole list of what is closest to you, because what's closest to you may not be what's closest to me. Also, they would be able to tell you what hours are they open, which would also depend on your working schedule if you're working, or when you have to get the kids to school. So it might depend on a couple factors which food program you need to go to. There's some really great ones in the area. Pace, opened that food center last year, and it's amazing what they're doing over there. And what's great about their model is that you're actually shopping for
Correct.
it. So you're feeling that freedom to say, okay, this is what my family needs, and that's huge for families. Not just here's the bag of stuff that we're giving you, but it's really like you have that choice to say, yes, we want that, no, we don't. And then what's great about that too is that we know that food is not going to waste, because you took what you needed and not took stuff that we said you needed. So there is that difference in models.
But the model has changed too, because you have to do more of that than you used to, because it did used to be, here you go.
Right. And I think, we're seeing, more people have allergies. We hear all the time with, people and kids with gluten allergies. And so being able to pick those items is so important for so many reasons. But, for allergy purposes alone, that's huge. Those items typically are more expensive. And so being able to go to like a Pace and saying, hey, I have this, I know I have to stay away from this, but I can take more of this, that's important.
So as you come to the fall season here, as you said, the need grows. And I use the word satellites as far as these other food pantries, I mean, you got to be open a little more when you think about it, because there's
Right.
more of a need.
Right. So a lot of them have special days that they're open for the holiday specific. Maybe they're giving out turkeys. You know, we do our Big Hunger Heroes effort every Thanksgiving, where we're packaging 1,000 Thanksgiving meals that are going to most of these pantries and then being handed out. So they have special hours where people can come and pick up this additional food in addition to what they may be picking up during a regular course of a week.
Right. And in addition, those pantries, obviously, they're relying on you.
They're relying on a lot of us. I mean, you know, there's so much more happening in the food space since COVID. You know, there's a lot of groups that are sitting and talking about how can we collaborate more? How can we be supporting one another more? We're seeing more of the food pantries share products. So maybe they have some, like, you know, I can remember last year there was a couple pallets, I think it was like 4 pallets of yogurt, and this one pantry could not use all of it. And so they called a couple other folks and said, hey, can you take it? And then we helped distribute it out.
Right.
So it's nice to see that, you know, it's no longer about that competition. And sometimes we would see that.
Really?
Now it's really more about the collaboration and like, how can we work together better to make sure we're serving the most amount of people?
Well, I would think in a sense the model has changed since COVID.
It definitely
It's probably,
has.
I would assume it's more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah, oh,
has to
absolutely
be.
more efficient. Yeah, people have gotten a lot more efficient on, you know, changing their models and thinking of changing away, like I said, from just here's the bag of food. It's here's your option to pick what you need. We're listening to more feedback from the community about what their needs are too. You know, what it is that they might like to see in a food pantry that's not there. And that's what's nice about our partnership with Coastal Food Shed is, you know, we've talked to them and said, hey, you know, we're being asked for this kind of produce instead of this. Do you have anywhere you can source this that now we can be bringing this out? And so I think we're just all more aware of asking those questions, being more culturally sensitive to what people's needs in the area are, because again, everybody's needs are a little bit different depending on their culture, what they're eating. So they may not eat, you know, a squash, but they may want some other type of produce that maybe we could get in their hands.
I don't want beets.
I don't want beets either.
I don't want beets. So that's good too, and we can talk. I want to touch on too the Holiday Wishes campaign. I know you partner with the radio stations for this campaign, but again, it comes back to this time of season and the need.
Yeah.
And I would assume, I mean, you talked about other things that the United Way does, but this is an example. It's not just the food bank. You're trying to help people get through the holidays with some gifts for family, really.
Right. And what's unique about this Holiday Wish program with Fund 107 and WBSM is that it's specifically focusing on a couple families who need more than that average, just I need clothes, I need toys. Not to say those are not needs, but they're a little bit bigger. So last year we had a family who came to us and the husband had been diagnosed with kidney failure. And so we did actually a lot of education on how you could donate a kidney, how you could become a donor. I know they are still looking for that. I actually just saw an article about this earlier. So it's, you know, also educating people about other areas that families are facing every day. You know, these are issues that they did not expect to all of a sudden be told, hey, here, you know, you're in liver failure, kidney failure at this point, unless you get something soon. That's going to change your situation. And so it's how can we support this family? Is it paying some of those medical bills? Is it taking care of their car payments so they can get back and forth to dialysis? And so that's what's great about this program is we're able to do some of those things beyond the normal scope of health and human service agencies. We had a little girl last year. It's probably one of my favorite stories. She's a teenager. And she had a specific condition in her eye where it was blurry all the time. So we were actually able to raise enough money to get the lens in her eye replaced.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You know, that's something that, you know, her family had been struggling for so many years. And there was never a chance they were going to be able to do this for her. And so what's great is seeing that community come together to be able to take care of her. And now she's set on a good path to graduate high school. She's reading better. She's comprehending better just because now she can see so much better.
Right.
You know, I always thought, like, you know, when I take off my glasses, I can't see anything, right? Everything is blurry. I can't imagine having that on a daily basis all day, every day. You know, for me, it's like, oh, I throw my glasses on and I'm much better. The glasses weren't helping her at all. This was just a constant blur all the time. And so now she's able to live, you know, a full, happy life, being able to see And you know what she said was that she wants to give back when she's a little bit older, and she wants to be able to help kids that were in situations like hers. So that's what we love to see about this Holiday Wish program.
So talk about that. How can people help for that, or where can they get information on that?
So we just finished our nomination period. So we are working to contact the families and get their stories going. So the second week in December, we'll be talking about these stories on WBSM. In Fun 107, and we'll be telling their stories and how you can help. You know, if there's a specific need, maybe a family needs a refrigerator because all their food is going bad and they have medical bills, whatever that need is, we'll be telling you what it is, and we'll be trying to raise the money to solve some of those issues that will help them now thrive. So that will be happening that the second week in December, sorry. So tune in to Fun 107 and WBSM and just hear how you can help.
Victoria Grasela is our guest here on Conversation With, and it's that holiday time, so there's a lots of things going on at the United Way. Just talk to me a little bit about right now the organization as far as the need. I mean, you guys have so many things in the fire right now, but I'm curious as to how you're doing with the demands that are on you right now.
Yeah, I mean, United Way, we're always changing how things operate. We're always trying to make sure that we're impacting the community in the best way that we can. You know, we're collaborating with as many people as we can to make sure we're serving as many. You're going to see some changes in United Way. You may have already seen some of them. So we actually just went through a brand refresh. So we have a new logo that's out there, which is really exciting for us. And then we're also changing some of our focus areas to better serve the needs in the community. So before it was health, education, financial stability, basic needs. And so now we've shifted that a little bit more to community resiliency, health access, youth opportunity, and I'm blanking on my last one, but there are 4 of them. You can go right to our website and learn more about everything.
Are people donating still?
They are still donating.
The campaign's always been a big thing for the United Way.
Yeah, we're still getting donations from people just going onto our website and making a donation. Those donations are huge because it allows us to pull that money together and either put it into initiatives that we're operating at United Way under our roof, or it helps us support grants that are going to different community organizations in the area. So yeah, people are still doing payroll deduction through their companies, right. And so the money is coming right out of their paychecks. They do that at the city here, you know.
Yes, I do know.
And so that makes it a little bit easier to give as well. So there's those options. There is, making a donation right on our website, which is always encouraged, because again, that money just gets invested right back into the community.
I don't think people understand how wide the area is that the United Way covers.
Yeah. So, United Way, there's United Way Worldwide that is literally worldwide.
Correct. But the United Way Greater New Bedford is huge.
Yeah. So we are considered a mid-sized United Way. There are United Ways that are much bigger, like in Rhode Island, it's the full state.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's very unique over there. But here in Massachusetts, there's 14 United Ways. Our service area is considered mid-size, and so we're serving 9 communities. So it's New Bedford and the 8 communities around us from Dartmouth to Wareham.
And
it's a good amount of area.
Yeah, no, it's a good amount of area. It's a well-populated area, and it's certainly there's a different economic situation as you look at each town.
Areas,
correct.
Right,
yeah.
Of course. And then there's some places where people say, okay, well, there's probably not need in this area, but that's not always the case. We see people that are coming for services from every one of our communities in the area, because you might just have an off year. Who knows what happened? Maybe somebody got sick that you were not preparing for. Those medical bills. And so now that sets you in a different category, and you're like, okay, well, where can I get help? And so that's where we see some of that all the time, no matter what time of the year it is. But definitely during the holidays, the number of people coming into our family center is increased because people are, they're like, I got to do this for my kids.
Right. No, in a sense, it's the last chance, or it's their last option.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are proud and they don't want to do it. And
that's
then,
so true.
And then this is it.
But it's like, at the end of the day, I got to make sure my kids are fed. I want to make sure they have a great holiday. And so they are turning to us. They are turning to other organizations. And so we're, part of what all of us are collaborating in the area too is getting rid of that stigma that there's a problem asking for help. You should never feel bad about asking for help, because it could be any one of us at any given day that needs that.
And you said in the past, I don't think it was the last time you were here, but in the past, I mean, right up until the holiday, a day or two before, you're still.
Yeah,
I don't want to say you're scrambling, but somebody's come up at that time and said,
we get calls all the time.
I'm stuck, and Christmas is in 2 days.
And we get calls early too. I mean, I think my first call this year was probably in September, which is pretty early, but I think, people know that this year is tough still with inflation, with, the rise of housing costs. And so they are looking for those options. And my suggestion to anybody who's listening that needs help is look into that sooner than later. Don't wait till that last minute. It is harder to find that help last minute. So go now. Go stop by Salvation Army, call our office, call PACE. See what they can do for you, but definitely look into it sooner than later.
Well, you guys have talked about housing and education for a long time. As you said, they've been focuses on in the past for the organization, really those needs haven't changed at all over the years.
Right. I mean, honestly, those needs have grown. I mean, it's not any secret that housing is a really big need. Not just in our area; it's across the country.
Oh yeah, it's
a
nationwide issue. There's just not enough housing.
Right. And I'll go on Facebook. Like I saw one last night, and I couldn't believe it. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment for $2,000, and I was like, wow. Mortgages aren't even that high for some people. And so it's how are people supposed to make those decisions on, rent and making sure the prescriptions are there and making sure the food's on the table. And then, now it's holiday time and they've got to figure out how they're going to get a gift under the tree, or they're going to have that special holiday meal. And that's where all of our community organizations are really here to help alleviate that.
Talk a little bit, just back to the food for the Hunger Commission here, because I know people want to donate this time of year and they want to help, and they should check out the United Way for the food pantries locally if they want to donate.
Yep.
Money's probably the best thing.
Money is always best because we can buy in bulk. So that is what's nice about if you're giving dollars instead of just food. I mean, just food is great, don't get me wrong, because it's there. But if you donate dollars, then we can actually buy in bulk and get a better price and be able to get more of it.
But if people want to, I mean, they do go grocery shopping, and you see the local supermarkets actually have a place where you can.
A lot of them do, yeah.
What is it? And I don't think people understand. It's not going through your cabinet and getting the lima beans.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love a good lima bean, but what is it that's good to purchase for the Hunger Commission?
So this time of the year, we're looking for very specific Thanksgiving items, right? So it's the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, the mashed potatoes. Those are what we're looking for now. But in, a regular time of the year, even after Thanksgiving ends, the things food pantries are looking for most are, shelf-stable milk. They're looking for, believe it or not, like cake mixes sometimes for a kid's birthday. Sometimes that is a big need. They're looking for low sodium soups. Those are really the things that, if the lower in sodium, the lower in fat, like check out those labels even on, your canned vegetables and get those lower sodium items. So that way we can eat a little bit healthier at least.
And you don't want, and you've said this before, you don't want the refrigerated stuff.
No refrigerated stuff.
No milk, no eggs, because that stuff's going to spoil.
Yeah, it's going to spoil by the time we get it where it needs to go. Also, some of the pantries that we deliver to don't have the capacity with freezer or
really?
Cold storage. I mean, that's the reality. Some pantries are really just, a closet pantry. And so, or it's a council on aging who doesn't have a lot of storage. They don't really have space for that cold stuff. So it's got to be that shelf-stable items. Pastas, pasta sauce, cereal is always a big one on the list. Peanut butter and jelly. Also think about what food kids are going to eat a lot more of. So it's more of that peanut butter and jelly. It's the rice, things that you can serve. With a little bit, you can serve a lot of people.
Right.
But those are always the things that are most needed at the pantries.
And you've talked about in the past, and I think it's a good reminder too, especially when it comes to young kids, it's not just the food.
Right.
Diapers.
Right. There's diapers. There's, formula is expensive.
Right.
So items like that are always needed too. Pantries are handing those out. There's some programs locally. There's one through PACE called Diapers and Things who is giving out diapers, throughout the month. Our Women United just had our first community baby shower a couple weeks ago where we gave out over 6,000 diapers.
Wow.
That's a lot of diapers.
No, it is, but I think that's a good reminder,
Yeah.
especially this time of year. It's not just the food. It's
all of these items.
It's the essentials
Yeah.
that people need at home.
Yeah, it's all of these items that, some of us just take for granted because it's like, well, I'll just run to the store and get it. Well, not everybody has that opportunity to be able to be that fortunate to do that. So, if you're at the grocery store, you're at Target or at Walmart, pick up a couple extra things and drop them by your local food pantry, drop them at our office, just however you can give back, it's really encouraged. But again, to your point before, if you want to make a bigger impact, making that donation online is very impactful because, again, we can buy in bulk and we can make a bigger impact together.
For people who need, are interested in things, just briefly, because I know you and I have talked about this in the past, but the website is very helpful.
The website is very, very helpful. So unitedwayofgnb.org, we're actually going to be redoing it very soon. It's in the queue. And so there you can find information about how you can donate, how you can get help, where those food pantries are. There's a link to 211 there, which I mentioned earlier. Also, how you can volunteer. That's another thing. If you're not able to give that food or make that donation, you can always volunteer. There's volunteer opportunities with us. At our Hunger Heroes, we're going to have about 175 or so volunteers that help with that day. But there's volunteers service all year round, whether it's with us or other organizations. So you just go to volunteersouthcoast.org. There's hundreds of opportunities there that you can search by your zip code. You can search by your interest area, your age. There's so many ways to sort it out, and you can find something great that's right for you.
I want to give you a chance to plug, because you were talking about the grants.
Yes.
A program that you started. Now we've got a couple minutes. I just want to give you a chance to plug it.
Yeah, so we have our Changemaker grants going on right now. So up until December 13th, you can apply for a Changemaker grant if you're an all-volunteer nonprofit group. So you don't have to be a 501c3 registered nonprofit. You just have to be an all-volunteer group with a budget under $40,000. And you can apply for up to $2,500 to identify something in your community, whether that's your neighborhood, your school, the community at large, and you can identify an issue and come up with what that project is to solve that issue or to make things a little bit better. So it could be any number of things, community gardens, it could be little libraries. We've really seen it all over the years. This program has been around since 1995, and this is the first time we've opened it up twice in 1 year.
Right, and that's the point we want to make too. This has traditionally been in the
just
spring,
in the spring,
but this is something new.
People have great ideas all year round, and they may miss that opportunity by us only offering it in the spring. So now we're offering it twice per year, so that way it gives you the opportunity, if you have a great idea in the fall, you can come to us in the fall. So again, that information is all on our website as well.
And again, the deadline for that is December 13th.
Yes.
Right. Contact information, I think it'd be good for folks, again, if they want to get in touch with you.
Yep, so you can
Not
go,
you specifically.
Not me specifically.
There's other people in the office, people.
Our website is unitedwayofgnb.org. We can also be reached by phone at 508-994-9625.
Sounds good. It's great seeing you as always.
Always good to see you, Jim.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, you too.
All righty. That's going to do it for this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.